About a month ago, I was on a plane from Denver to Kansas City. I was sitting there waiting, and this gal came flying in, sat down beside me. She just barely made it before the doors closed. She was really frustrated, and I said, "What's wrong?" She said, "Oh, that TSA, Transportation Security Administration, they kept me at the security line way longer than they should have. When I got to the airport, I checked in 2 hours early like I was supposed to. Stood in line. There was probably 50 people in front of me, and so finally, after the line was moving and I finally got up there very slowly, it was my turn. So I took off all my medals, took off my jacket, took off my shoes like TSA expects you to, and laid them all on the conveyor belt and headed through the walkthrough. And the alarm goes off. So turned around, I had to go back out, and I had to check to make sure I had nothing else in my pockets, and I didn't. So went through again while the alarm still went off. So then the next step for them was to take their handheld wand, and they had to run it over all of my body, and in a certain place right underneath it went off. So then they had to do a physical pat down. Well, my frustration is it took so long to do all that it only left me 15 minutes to get to my flight, and my gate was way down at the other end, so I had to really run. And I just don't understand what's going on with TSA. Why is it that the security is so tight? Well, let's go back 45 years. Back in 1955, a man named Jack Graham had some bombs, placed it in his mother's luggage, and she was on her way to Denver when the bombs exploded in her luggage and killed all 44 people involved. Going on in 1968, there was a hijacker who took over a plane, killed the co-pilot, and injured himself and the pilot. Seriously injured him. So the hijackings just went on progressively from there. In 1973, President Nixon mandated a bill that said that all passengers and bags had to be screened by the airline. So that's when the passenger screening and bags came into effect. That's when the walkthrough came through. That's when they put everything on the conveyor belt. Well, going on down the line, we have, we had more hijackings, and of course everybody knows that the biggest hijacking of all was September 11th, 2010. 2001, sorry. And the biggest hijacking we had was, as everybody knows, that has been born since then, is September 11, 2001. And that is where 3 of the U.S. airliners crashed into the buildings and 1 crashed into the ground. And that was from hijacking. In November 16th of 2011 is when
November 19, 2001.
Back up because I can cut that out. That is when in November 19th, 2001 is when Homeland Security, who is kind of the security of all the transportation and all over the United States, and they do have a website if you want to read more about it. That's when they decided that we would start a Transportation Security Administration, and the airlines would no longer do the screening. TSA has enforced a lot of different restrictions than we used to as the regular airline. As a regular airline, we did screening of bags, but you were able to take certain things through that since TSA took over that you no longer can do. And I wanted to show you a few of these things. First of all, if you have any liquids or gels, used to be, airlines would let you take any kind into your carry-on bag. You have big ones, little ones. Well, now you can only take 3.4 ounces or less, and it has to be in a quart-sized Ziploc bag. Everything has to fit in there, and it has to be clear. They want to see what you're taking in. Also, shoes. If you are, it doesn't matter, any kind of shoes, sandals, shoes, any kind of shoes, you have to take those off because sometimes they have the metals in it, and it's just easier if everybody takes off the shoes. If you have any coats, jackets, even sometimes if you have a shirt on like this and you have a sweater over it, they'll have you take off the sweater. Definitely no metals. You can't have any metals in there. Nothing pointed. I would like to now put down my shoes and now give you, I get to cut it out, and now give you kind of an example how the Transportation Security Administration works when somebody is going through a walkthrough. As you can tell, I do not have an actual walkthrough here, so we're going to do a little pretending. Right here is going to be my walkthrough metal detector, and I've got two passengers that are going to come through. Okay, and they're going to come through this walkthrough metal detector. Let's do it. I don't know which way to do it by the camera. Let's have them come through this walkthrough metal detector.
Okay, like, stand up.
Stand up.
Okay, ma'am, you want to step through the, little ma'am, you want to step through the walkthrough metal detector for me? Okay, right through here. Oh, we need to take your coat off first. Okay, you can come right through here. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, ma'am, you have to go back. You have to go back. Okay. Got anything else in your pockets? Oh, looks like you have some keys. Set them right there. Okay, come on through. All right. Okay, you're all good to go. You can put your stuff back on. Thank you very much. You have a wonderful day. Okay, ma'am. Beep, 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 beep. Oh, you're gonna have stuff too. Do you have anything else in your pockets? Nothing? Can I see what you have there? Just lay it right on the table. Knives are not allowed on the plane, so we are going to have to call the police. So just have a seat over there, would you? Oh, I'm sorry, water's not allowed either. But I won't call the police on the water, just the knife. Thank you, and the police will be here shortly.
Sad face.
So basically that's the way it is, and I know it's all pretend here, but that is what they have to go through. And you'd be really surprised the people that do try to get through, they'll have knives in their backpack. There was an example once of some pilots that they had to be searched extra and the police called because they were commercial, or they were private pilots also, and they had it looked like a pipe bomb, and it was actually flares in there that they used for their private plane. And honestly, I don't know what happened after that, but you can't have things like that. You can't have flares, you can't have anything. In your check baggage, You definitely can't have any kind of fireworks, anything that's hazardous that could blow up the plane. The baggage is checked by TSA in the big cities. They have what's called an ETD machine, which is an explosive tracer detection machine, where they can actually tell if there's any powder or explosives on your bag. And then again, if there is, they have to question you more to find out why it's there. So after I was talking to this lady, I said to her, "Ma'am, do you remember back in September 11th, 2001? She goes, "Yeah, it was horrible." So we didn't have the screening like we do now. I said, "You know, those extra few minutes, okay, so you missed your flight, you know, because that person that went through that they took that extra time with may have been a terrorist or a bomber or someone you do not want on your plane. And we know you're not that, but that doesn't mean somebody else isn't. And if they don't take the time to check everyone the same, we're going to have another 911 on our hands." So after that, she kind of understood where it was coming from. And she calmed down and she said, "Yeah, I guess you're right." So for those of you that have ever flown on an airline and had to go through security and have had the problems and the inconvenience of people of the TSA taking that extra time to do the screening, think about back in September 11th when maybe those people wish that we did have TSA then and they would still be here now. How long was it?
About
12 minutes.
12 minutes. I'll have to cut it down.
because a lot